All right, the show is still Today with John and Helen live on Plus TV Africa, and we are but just a few days to marking Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary. So far, how far, John?
Does it feel like we're having a 64th?
Does it have to feel like?
No. Honestly, Helen, I thought about it this morning, and I said, growing up, by this time, you'd at least see some green, white, green flags on lamp posts.
Still a few days now.
Still a few days.
See the green flag.
Oh, really? There's no reason for it.
Well, yeah, and Nigeria is here, so we'll have a celebration.
We will have a celebration, yes.
Is it? Okay.
And another thing I want to get off my chest is last Tuesday, I was traveling from Yaba to the island. And just before I climbed the bridge, I saw someone lying on the ground, comatose. And what interested me, I was on the other side trying to climb the bridge. There was a young lady, attempting to feed him.
Oh, Lord.
She bought a few sachets of water, and then she was trying to feed the guy with something else. By the time I got to Ahmadu Bello Way on Victoria Island, I saw another person lying destitute and then I saw three all together.
Okay.
No, three people in that condition. On my way back, the first guy I saw was still there. It was drizzling.
Wow.
And I was like, hey, what's going to happen to this guy? And then that night, it rained heavily. And since then, my head I've not been able to get him off. What happened to our social welfare department? I just thought I should get that off my chest, Helen.
And another thing I also noticed within the week is we are having a lot more people carrying their generator sets or the tank of their Okadas across on their head. Not on. I've seen like 5 people with the gen on their head.
Because filling stations are refusing
to jerry cans. And the danger that comes with that
is even worse.
I don't know who is looking in that direction.
Anyway.
Okay.
So, I'll wait to hear the contribution from our guest on this matter. Right now, it's time to meet our first guest. Yes?
Okay, and we are honored. Lovely lady. She's been here with us almost all morning. We're honored to have joining us right now a visionary leader who is dedicated to empowering women and transforming lives through her multifaceted ministry and humanitarian efforts. Bola Olawale, our guest, leads the BSS Women, which is Body, Soul, and Spirit Women, a global ministry which inspires and uplifts women through conferences, mentorship, and spiritual growth initiatives across Nigeria, the USA, and Central America. She's a life and relationship coach and a teacher. Our guest is committed to empowering individuals and communities. Let us meet right now. Bola Olawale, founder, GEM HIV and AIDS. And that's an initiative. She is also an initiative and conference speaker. Welcome to the Family and Success Platform show.
Thank you so much.
I will hear you just arrived the country barely 3 days ago. Yes, I can still feel the snow. So it's heartwarming to have you here with us today, Belle.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
To be here.
So quickly, like they say, real quick.
Yes, amongst all that you do and every other area that we would normally have you to speak on, we chose mental health at this point in time, women and mental health. And so mental health is often a sensitive topic, especially for women. Why do you think so many struggle to speak openly about it?
Thank you so much for that question. And I mean, when you were talking, I mean, if we could go down we would be here forever. But really, when we look at it, I want us to go down to the basics. Being a woman in this dispensation is really difficult. Gone are the days whereby a woman was just relegated to the kitchen and looking after the children. Her roles were really simple. But now we have the fact that women are aspiring to be greater. Women are breaking into boundaries and things that were normally male-dominated roles. So you have women having to work, juggle those roles with being a perfect wife, a perfect mother. And then we have all these expectations. And when we fail to meet up with these expectations, whether they be personal or they may be societal expectations, then we see people struggling with their mental health. And unfortunately, anytime you show vulnerability, people attribute it to weakness.
Wow.
So nobody wants to show their weakness. And so people kind of like keep mute about their mental health. And of course, there are wrong understandings. People have wrong perceptions about what mental health really is. So you see, nobody wants to talk about it because you don't want to be termed crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so then you see that people are just, trying to keep it quiet.
Yes. Stigma,
Yes.
shame.
Yes.
These two things always go,
Yes.
when we discuss mental health.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
So how do these barriers impact women, especially in African societies as we have it?
In this our society, it's a communal society. Everybody's in everybody's business. Now that can be a blessing, but it can also be a curse. And because everybody knows what's happening about you, everybody wants to know what's happening about you. Unlike, in the European system, everybody is private. Everybody minds their business. So nobody wants to be the gist on anybody's table. So everybody kind of like tries to pretend. There's a lot of performativeness going on. I pretend that everything is okay. And unfortunately, social media is not helping matters. So people come and show their lives being perfect. I mean, sometimes when I see things on social media, I'm like, nobody wakes up looking that beautiful in the morning. Nobody has a perfect home. Nobody has a perfect husband that is buying you designer wears all the time. But when we see all these things and people compare themselves with this perfect lifestyle, and you find out that your life is not that perfect, and then you see that people start having pressures, whether they may be societal or even personal pressures. And when you can't meet up to that, then we have a problem. So how do we break through those barriers? I think it's important that we let people understand that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to have everything perfect. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay. I mean, even the way God has made it, what's the monitor that they used to monitor in hospital? It goes up and down. The moment it flatlines, you're dead. So that means that life has to have mountains and has to have valleys. So it's okay for some days things will not just work out. There's some days that, everything that you planned will not just gel. And you should be okay with it being that way. But when we see people portraying that life of perfection and making people think that, no, I mean, you have to have it all together. You have to be a perfect wife, raise perfect children. Your children should have all A's in school. And if that is not happening, and then you must support your husband to be a perfect man. So if you fail in being supportive as a wife, fail in raising up your children, fail in looking beautiful all the time, then there's something wrong. Wow. But I feel that if we give people permission to understand that it's okay not to be okay, and we're able to share our own shame stories. There were days that I didn't have it all together. There were days that things were not going well. Then that gives people permission to say, okay, so there's nothing wrong with me if I'm having some challenge in what particular area or the other.
Like, perfectionism itself is a mirage.
It is.
You're always, you never get there. You never get there. It's always ahead.
Yes.
It's always so there's nothing like a perfectionist.
There is.
All right. So when you said it's okay for us to be able to tell our own stories, it struck a chord, and it took me to the essence of support groups. Of having that platform, that grouping, that opportunity. Those friends. Where you can easily tell your story, be vulnerable, and have people listen to you and help. So how will that play out? when you look at some of the misconceptions,
Yes.
you know, that we have around us at the moment concerning women and mental health.
Yes. You know, even though we live in a communal society, we find that many people are lonely. It's important that you have the right company. And the right company being people that you can share your stories, your shame stories with, and there's no fear of judgment. And because there are a lot of people that judge people, right? And so people don't feel comfortable enough to be able to share their stories. And that's one of the things that we do in our conference. Funny enough, the conference that we're having on the 1st of October is titled Unashamed.
All right.
And we're creating that environment for people to come and share their shame story. You know, I've been there, done that. I bought the t-shirt, right? And look at me, I'm still standing. And then when people can see, you can put a face to it. Because the problem is, a lot of times people feel their problems are unique. I'm the only one going through this. I'm the only one having financial problems. I'm the only one having problems in my marriage. But when you see that your problem is not unique, that there are other people actually going through those problems, and they've been able to navigate those problems, and they've been able to come out on the other side, then you kind of like find that kind of strength to say, okay, I can handle this. I can go through this. So having the right company is important. Creating those kind of environments where people can share their stories without any judgment, and also having the support. And that's why we have the mentorship, whereby we're able to support the younger ones that, okay, look what you're going through. It's not a big deal. You can overcome it. And of course, I mean, being part of a faith group, I'm a Christian, so everything about me is based on the word of God, right? So you having a faith group, you know, having the word, you know, to support you, I think is really important for us as women.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, what you just said now, you know, strikes an important note in my head. I mean, like up till early this morning, I was listening to an audiobook which was dealing on boundaries, you know, creating boundaries for family life, your business life, and all of that. Now, what we are saying here is that we should be more open.
Sure.
But from what I read overnight, it's like you should create your boundaries and let everybody know the limits. How do we balance those two?
Beautiful. It's important for you to have boundaries.
Yes.
But yet it's also important for you to have an outlet. God did not create us to be like a dam whereby everything is stored in. But you need to know where you open up to, who you open up to. The fact that you want to talk does not mean you should talk to everybody.
Okay.
Not everybody is trained enough to be able to understand what you're going through and be able to counsel you aright. I think sometimes people talk, but talk to the wrong people. And that's why I was saying that the kind of environment that we create in our conferences, the kind of environment that we create at the BSS Women Conference is the kind of environment whereby there is no fear of judgment. And so these are people that are matured enough to understand that just because, you know, you're going through this does not make you less of a person. So when we talk about boundaries, knowing who to talk to is important. Knowing who to talk to, knowing what to say to who. Like when we talk about mentorship, for instance, I always tell people you can have mentors for different areas. The person that mentors you in your career might not be equipped to mentor you with regards to your relationships. So it's important for us to understand and to locate who it is that I'll be able to open up to.
Interesting.
All right. So you have you're a conference speaker, you are a lifestyle coach, and all of that. And so my attention now is on the communities. I also found out that you do a lot of community engagement.
Yes.
How did you take this message to the people who are not in Lagos, the ones who are not in Port Harcourt, the ones who are not in Abuja?
In urban.
Yes.
Because it's mental health with women.
Yes.
It's everywhere.
But you know, it actually starts from childhood. So I think when we're talking about just mental health for the women, we need to understand that it starts from the childhood. And if we're able to begin to speak to our children in schools, there's a program that we started running about 4 years ago where we called it Preserving the Next Generation. Okay. So we're going to different Lagos State government schools, private schools, and also in the rural areas, talking to them about their identity, because it really starts from there. Sure. A lot of people that have, mental conditions, poor mental health, it's because they have low self-esteem. It starts from even when they're young. Like, for instance, in Nigeria, here in Lagos, if a child is chubby, they start saying, orobo, 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 from when the child is young. And so when the child is young, the child is made to have body shame.
Yeah.
So the child now begins to cover themselves up and feels inadequate. There's something wrong with me because I'm this size. So it starts from childhood. We need to reorient people and let them understand that. Be proud of yourself. Have a positive body image. The fact that you don't look like, there isn't any perfect person.
Sure.
So it starts from there. So I think we need to actually even talk to parents, making your children understand that you're good.
Yeah, the way you are.
Yes, you don't have to fit into anybody's image of how a person would be.
Yes.
I remember the days whereby, for instance, someone like me, I have big lips. And when I was growing up, I was very conscious of my lips. But then now we see people going to get injections in their lips
to
enlarge their lips. So it tells you that beauty doesn't have one standard, right? So you need to understand who you are, accept who you are. And
big lips for someone would be kissable lips for some other person.
Thank you. Spoken like a man, right?
That's where he's right. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so you're still on mental health. Like she said, we're focusing on mental health. Today.
Yes.
It's invisible. You can hardly see. Most times you can't even see when something has gone wrong. What are the signs that we should be more aware of?
Yes.
To better support women.
Yes.
Around us.
That word is so important.
Support. Yes.
Yes, because it's very important that we support each other, and it shouldn't be just lip service, but it should be something.
Lip service. Okay.
Yes. That we're intentional.
We're back to lips again.
Are we going to get out of the lips?
Get out of the lips now.
It's important that we are mindful to support each other, right? So what are the things to look out for? For instance, someone that has severe mood swings. So the person might be really chatty and happy, and then all of a sudden she becomes morose. Also someone that wants to isolate themselves. So they don't want to be seen. They don't want to go out. They don't want to, communicate and things like that. Also poor self-image. Suddenly you see that the person is not taking care of themselves. Their hair is untidy. They're not looking neat. They're not looking, and then also, even when you go to their homes, you might go to their homes and, the house is untidy, is unkept, and things like that. Those are telltale signs, that something is going wrong. And it's important that when we begin to notice those things, we should ask questions, and not questions that are just routine questions. There was an experience I had one day, which kind of like changed me personally in the way I ask people questions. So normally, you just say, "How are you?" Now, what are you going to say? Fine. That's the end of that. It's a question that it's not an open-ended question, right? But when you ask somebody, "So, how was your day?" That's an open-ended question. So the person now begins to go on. So there was a day I had a conversation with a lady, and I said, how was your day? And then she goes, do you want the edited version or do you want the real version? And I said I wanted the real version. And we had a 2-hour conversation that day. And she poured out.
Everything out.
Remember, I was saying people need an outlet. As a coach, the major work we do is just listening to people.
Yeah.
People want to talk. A lot of times we don't let people talk. They say, pray about it. It's okay. You're a woman. You can handle it. Be strong. We say all those kind of things and we shut people up. And meanwhile, they're just looking for someone to hear me. I want somebody to hear me. I'm going through this. I want somebody to know that I'm in trouble. And so it's important that we are mindful about supporting people and don't minimize what they're going through.
Yes.
Don't say, what is it? So you are cleaning the house. So you are going to work at 5 a.m. in the morning. We don't minimize what people are going through.
Yeah.
Give them that room to talk.
To ventilate.
Yes. And then whatever, you might not even give them any solution.
But just listening.
Thank you. Is what some people need. Just somebody that will just listen to
Someone
me.
they can talk to.
That's all.
And everybody is so much in a hurry, so busy. So finding this time has to be intentional.
It has to be.
You know, and wow. All right, time is really, really fast.
And you know, one of the things that we're doing, during our conference is that we're giving out free coaching sessions to 10 women. Free coaching sessions that they can sign up and they can come and actually talk and get professional help.
So before you leave the set, you would let our viewers know how they can, access this. But finally, looking ahead, how do you see the conversation around women's mental health, evolving? And what more can we do to normalize, the act of seeking for help on time?
I think one of the things what we're doing here right now, having this conversation, I think it's important that we have more conversations like this, making people aware, about what mental health is, why it's important for you to look after your mind. There's a lot of looking after the body. People are looking good, but the mind is sick. So you have people that are well made up, wearing designer outfits, and they're sick in their minds. And so I think it's important for us to prioritize looking after the mind in whatever way. So for instance, number one thing I would say would be, of course, faith, because that is important. And also looking for professionals. In Nigeria, we don't normalize going for therapy or going to see coaches. And it's important.
It is.
Like you said, people are busy, but the professional is paid to listen to you. So, and then you can find, and I'm talking about certified, not just anybody on social media that just put a coach in front of their names, people that are professionally trained. So you can pay for that service. I tell people, if you need to sacrifice buying that new outfit or buying that new bag, just to look after your mind, it's important. Wow. And thank God that we're a faith society. Of course, going to church, praying and the word helps us. And then you're looking for people that can listen to you. Making sure that you're looking for the right kind of friends. There are people that have 1,001 friends on social media, but that's not friendship. That's not friendship. So you're looking for people that have got your back. People that will cheer you on.
Yes.
People that are with you in the pit and in the palace, right? So we need those kind of friendships. So I think it's important. The onus lies on you to be intentional about your own life. Because you have only one life to live.
Yeah.
So you're intentional about making good friends. It doesn't have to be many. You can't have many good friends. When people are saying, I'm looking for friends, I'm saying, you don't need many friends. It's not, there's even nowhere, I'll always go to the Bible because I'm a Christian. Even in scriptures, there's nowhere where Jesus did not have many friends. He had many disciples, many followers, but they were always a three. So I'm always saying, if you have three, you have it God. You've got it good. If you have three people that you can call at 12 midnight and they would listen to you, you have three people that you can go and cry and they'll be there and they'll let you cry, And then also I believe that government needs to also give incentives that will make people actually pursue seeking for help professionally.
Okay, so before you forget, how can
Okay, but that is only open to people who have registered for the conference. So people that are attending the conference are going to be able to get those 10 free slots to be coached by a professional.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I'll have to find my way to the conference.
On the 1st of October.
1st of October.
It's on
No
Ikorodu Road at Solution
Okay,
Arena.
great.
Okay, Solution Arena, Ikorodu Road, 1st of
October
October,
at 10
time
a.m.
is 10 a.m. All right, we give you that one free advertisement for the good work that you have been
Thank
doing.
you so much.
Okay, so no more to add, and more than ever before, we must be committed to lending a helping hand, to the underprivileged, to the vulnerable around us, to our friends and family members, and so that we can, have a very sane community.
Yes.
Thank you for that inspiration.
Thank you so
And I'm
much.
sure for you, it's a commitment to service,
Yes, it
transformation,
is.
and lasting impact.
Yes.
We thank you for helping women understand mental health issues better, and men too.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
All right, another break beckons. We believe that you have picked a lot from the conversation with our first guest. We'll see you in a bit. Don't go away.